This is Aleppo, one of the oldest living cities on earth. It's long been Syria's crowning glory, an important commercial hub, its largest and most vibrant city. And it's home to 4 million Syrians. Among them, parents Zein al Dein, his wife Aisha, and their 6 children. The youngest is 2, and just like any other day, all of them waking up hungry for breakfast.
أول كي أروح على المدرسة إيش في مثلاً شو بدك يعني في مربى في حلاوة في جبنة في إيش في حواضر بيشتهي ياكل بلف له سندويشة كل واحد منطقة خارجية بشتري له أحلى لبس إيش في عندي لبس بشتري له لبس بلبسه أحلى لبس بشتري له بوت كويس اللي عايز بشتري كل شيء بلبسه بس يعني رايح أمن عليه ما في شيء الحمد لله هو الأمان بالله رايح ما في شيء يعني ما في لا غصب ولا شيء يعني.
Zein al Dein hasn't ever been a prosperous man, but he's managed to do okay. He's always had plenty of work in the laundry business, and he's always been able to provide for his family.
يعني الهموم إلى يعني شلون التفسير بده يصير الهموم إلى شيء والابتسامة إلى شيء. فنحن عم نعلم أولادنا إنه ابتسموا مهما صار. لا تنزعجوا من شيء.
Their eldest son, 11-year-old Ibrahim, is a bundle of energy and enthusiasm. He's a good kid and a bright one, hungry to learn. He's had a passion for school from day one.
بس إنه بدي ندرس وأدخل على الطب وأدرس طب وأصير طبيب إن شاء الله.
Life used to be good.
ولا حدا بسافر أبدا يعني لا في لا مشاكل وشي بركين مرتاحين في شغل الحمد لله في ما نشتري مثلا بنزين نشتري أكل نشتري غاز شي.
But as the world has learned, and this family knows only too well, Aleppo is now a divided place, a place cleaved into a before and after, a then and now, and an east and a west. In the brutal struggle for power in Syria, the west is held by the government forces of President Bashar al-Assad. Here in the east, it's held by rebel fighters, and Ibrahim's dad is one of them. The laundryman is now a rifleman. Zein al Dein leads a small band of local rebels. The way he sees it, his is a fight for a Syria he wants for his children, a place not of oppression, but of opportunity.
أجيال 30 و40 اللي عايشين هلا لا الثورة هي ثورة الأطفال اللي من عمر إبراهيم عمان نزرع لهم مستقبل مشرق بحرية.
But the Syria of now is a hellhole, and Aleppo is one of its darkest corners.
كنت أفكر شلون كنا مبسوطين مرتاحين يعني إني ما في يعني غصب فوقنا يعني أول شيء غصب ما في كان فوقنا مرتاحين ما في غصب وين ما رحت وين بركت وين من نمت ما بتخاف من شيء هلا كنا ننام فوق بعضنا بالخوف.
For this family, like so many in this city, each moment is a battle to keep faith in the idea that some kind of normality will return and that their children will have a future.
بتمنى يتعلمون يدرسون يصيروا كويسين يسافروا لبرا وين بدهم يعني عراحتهم بس يتعلموا يصيروا كويسين.
Despite their burdens, they've allowed us into their home to get a sense of how they're trying to get on with their lives against all the odds, even as the sky rains a daily downpour of horrors. Life's basic tasks have become almost impossible, and yet they press on. Particularly Ibrahim, a boy determined to learn no matter what.
متضايق لأني إنه ما عم بدرس، بدي يعني أدرس إنه ما ضيع علي هالسنوات.
In Aleppo, going to class is to gamble with your life. Ibrahim's regular school has been bombed, so he's headed for a makeshift classroom in a basement just around the corner.
بخاف لما يروح يعني من المدرسة. بخاف يعني الله يسمح يكون هو رايح تجي غزيفة وتجي ما أرجع أشوفه بعدين.
Sure enough, as school is about to begin, the bombs begin to fall. A bomb has hit an apartment block around the corner from the classroom. Despite the commands of his headmistress, Ibrahim is hyped up by the blast and heads off to investigate. Once again, the class is cancelled.
No, there's no point getting closer.
يعني لو كان ما في قصف يعني صرت أنا هلا صفتان بس يعني شلون أقول لك يعني صار لي سنتين أنا السنة ما درست هلا بدي أدرس السنة هاي إن شاء الله ما روحة عني.
One of the reasons getting an education is such an uphill battle is that most of the schools in this part of town have been attacked or abandoned. Just 6% of this city's school-aged kids are still going to class.
بس طلع طالع إزاز علينا لكننا نايمين. استشهدت الشظايا بس كان في واحد ميرة.
The kids here tell us this girls' high school was turned first into a shelter for people who'd run away from the fighting, and then it was shelled more than once. Instead of being a wasteland, this is where the next generation of Syrians should be educated.
Under international law, schools are supposed to be immune from attack, but both sides seem to see them as part of the fight.
Well, there is plenty of evidence of an artillery strike on the school, but the other thing the kids told us also seems to be true. They said government troops moved in with explosives and put them in the school, and that is clear evidence of a demolition job.
It's one thing to be a determined student, but you'll also need a determined teacher to make an education possible. At Ibrahim's latest makeshift school, his teacher, a fifth, is packing up. Too many families have fled, and too many shells are coming in to keep it going. But a fifth plans to keep teaching in a similar school in the suburb next door. He's taking precious textbooks with him because he risked his life to smuggle them in from government-controlled territory, and he's not going to let them go.
الخطورة هي 99% قناص و1% بيكون القصف يعني بس القناص هو أكثر شيء لأنه بتكون هي مناطق تماس منشور القناصين فيها بشكل كبير. كثير سعيد ومبسوط وإنه حسنت أمن شيء لطلابنا ولأبنائنا وهذا أقل واجب ممكن نقوم فيه يعني.
Ibrahim's been invited to join the class, so we give him a lift. Today, it's modern Arabic. Despite the cramped conditions, Ibrahim's loving the chance to finally get back to learning. But the class lasts less than half an hour.
Well, that explosion was from a government jet which was flying overhead. I was standing outside here while the class was on. We heard the jet fly over, the bomb come in, was so close that shrapnel actually rained down outside the school here.
مثل ما دكتور إنه أنا بحلم إني أصير دكتور، هذا راح يأثر علي إنه بأثر علي لما ما بداوم، بأثر علي إنه أنا ما أصير دكتور يعني، شايل إنه أقول إنه يا ليش ما بداوم أنا على المدرسة بكرة أنا بصير يعني ما راح أصير دكتور.
في شيء بداخلي عم بيأنبني يعني ضميري بيأنبني إنه ما حسنت خرجه من هالوضع اللي هو فيه، أو إنه فيده يعني قدم له شيء يستفيد منه. الجهل صار كتير، تلقيه للعلم قليل كتير. يعني بتوقع انه راح يكون جيل عصابات على هالشيء اللي عم بيصير، راح يكون جيل عصابات. بالنسبة للأطفال، أي طفل تطلب منه يرسم لك أي رسمة، فرح تلاقي إنه برسم لك عسكري وقتيل والدم.
The bomb landed just 600 metres away from the classroom. A young girl is stunned by the blast, but at least she's alive. Others may not have been so lucky.
طلعت دقني ما توقعنا يكونوا هون. جينا قالوا عند المدارس، جيت لشفت بيت اخوي كله خربان فيه 8 اشخاص، من اولاد صغار ومرأة وجوزات.
At first it looks like just another indiscriminate attack on a civilian home. But as we begin to poke around, suddenly the local militiamen are not keen on foreigners asking questions.
Well, we've just been ordered away from that bomb site by a senior-looking gunman who told us we simply had to leave. The area beside the bomb site, as it turns out, was a school, and I saw 3 gunmen going into the compound, and one of the locals told us that it was being used to house people who'd fled the fighting, but also as a base for rebel fighters.
The rebels are a mixed bunch. All of them want to get rid of Bashar al-Assad. Most want some kind of Islamic State, and a few go further, seeing the war here as part of a greater international jihad. The regime is being supported by Russia, Iran and China, but the rebels are only getting limited support from the West and its Arab allies. Ibrahim's dad says they feel abandoned by the world.
مو حدا واللي عمال نطلبه شيء قليل جدا، ما عم نطلب قوات أجنبية تجي لعنا، فنحن بدنا سلاح نوعي ندافع عن حالنا، نخلص من الطاغية. لو كان إنسان من بريطانيا أو من أستراليا أو من أي بلد أوروبي شاف قدامه صاروخ نزل على مساحة كبيرة وصاروا يطلعون أطفال أشلاء يعتبره هو ابنه، شلون شعوره؟ هل عجب بده يكفي إنه يشيل سلاح؟
For Ibrahim and his mates, football offers one of the few escapes from all of the carnage and chaos.
نسيني مناظر الجرحى، نسيني مناظر الدم، مناظر القصف، كله تنسيني إياه لما بلعب يعني.
But a neighbourhood game of football is not as simple as it sounds, because Aleppo has been turned into a macabre, topsy-turvy world, where children who wait for a break in the rain must also fear a sunny day.
لما تطلع الشمس كنا بنخاف، كنا ندخل على البيوت ما بنطلع، لأن لما تطلع الشمس يكون الجو صحي أكيد، بده يطلع طيران، يعني الطيران إذا في غيم ما خرج يطلع أبدا.
While a sunny day is to be feared, nightfall does not bring much relief. Each explosion worsens an ever-present fear the next bomb could fall on you. These images from the ABC's Mid-East cameraman Matt Marsick are the only record of a terrible and controversial attack.
2 airstrikes have just come in just to the north of us and just a bit to the west. They just shook this building. The shockwaves seemed to go straight through us, and there's only a little bit of anti-aircraft fire going out. We didn't really even hear the jet go overhead beforehand. There was just no warning. It was deafening, terrifying, and a pretty good example of what these people are living with day by day.
When we went to see where the explosions had occurred and what sort of damage had been done, this is what we found. The US-based group Human Rights Watch says this is the result of a ballistic missile attack on a civilian area. They're the kind of missiles originally designed to launch short-range nuclear weapons, flying hundreds of kilometres and landing with no warning. If those running this war are ever brought to justice, this would surely count as a war crime. Half of the people living in Aleppo are children. When ballistic missiles are fired into their neighbourhoods, the overwhelming odds are that innocent children will figure prominently in the toll.
Well, that's the second small child we've seen carried out of this rubble. And here comes another one. That's a third child. A third child in just a few minutes brought out of this rubble here. It'll be an absolute miracle if those little kids have survived.
In 2 missile strikes this night, Human Rights Watch calculated more than 90 people were killed. 46 were children. The ballistic missiles can be aimed fairly accurately, so it's all the more outrageous that they fall right in the heart of densely populated suburbs. At the scene of a separate ballistic missile strike, a 5th, Ibrahim's teacher, is searching for missing loved ones. The best he can hope for is that they won't be here in the rubble, and they fled their homes in time. More than 3 million Syrians have abandoned their homes in the 2 years of this horrible conflict.
وما بنعرف حاليا اذا كانوا موجودين بالبيت او ما انهم موجودين بالبيت ما انتهينا والاغلبيه اطفال ونساء.
Rebel leaders say these ballistic missile attacks have made a mockery of their appeals for weapons like anti-aircraft missiles. How, they ask, are they supposed to defend themselves against weapons that cause destruction on this scale? Among the 47 deaths documented here, Human Rights Watch says 23 were children. Little Zakaria al-Sagir lost most of his family. For his part, a 5th search through the chaos left him only with a dreadful, unanswered question. At least one family member is still missing.
الحمد لله طمنت على بيت عمي، بس لحد الآن في شخص من أولاد عمي ما عرفنا عنه شيء، يعني ما لقينا جثته ولا عرفنا عنه شيء.
not just the people of Aleppo and the city being obliterated here, childhood itself is also being destroyed. Ibrahim and his friends want to show me the place where something terrible happened just the week before we arrived.
بس يعني صوت عالي جدا جدا اجى علينا، ولما احنا جينا لهون شفنا جيش، يعني واحد من الجيش الحر تحت الارض هيك حجر كله فوقه، وفي مستشهد شفته.
Ibrahim saw his best mate killed in an airstrike. They'd been friends since kindergarten.
وديناه على البيت من السيارة، اسعفناه على المستشفى، يعني عند المستشفى توفى. لما شفته لساته عايش، عمله استنى لا تموت، اخذته لعنا على البيت، طلعناه بسيارتنا احنا واسعفناه على المستشفى. أول ما نزلنا من المستشفى استشهد، وزعلت كثير لما استشهد يعني، وحظي يعني يوم كمان كله تعيس وصرت بالفرشة دائما اليوم كله.
Some of the heaviest fighting in Aleppo has been less than 2 kilometres away at the international airport. That means as the kids collect kindling, they're in grave danger, but they pretend not to feel it.
ما أخاف منه لأني تعودت عليه أولاً. ثانياً ما أخاف منه لأني ما تأثرت منه أبداً ولا راح أتأثر إن شاء الله، وتعودت عليه والله بيحميني كمان.
There's just so much going on that robs Ibrahim of his childhood, and his father worries it's all eating away at his son's moral core.
انتم على الجبهات يا بس انتم على الجبهات، انتم على الجبهات على الحرب عمال تحكون بالحرب. احنا هين بالبيت ما نعرف امتى تجينا القذيفه وعمال نحكي بالحرب لسه، ما نقدر ننساه والله ما نقدر ننساه.
The constant attacks and uncertainty are undermining Ibrahim's sense of security. This 11-year-old has started wetting the bed.
بيخجل من حاله اوقات، يعني مثلا اذا نجس غراضه بيخجل، ما بطلع بوشنا كمان، بس اقول له معلش يعني عادي، بدي اهديه شوي يعني، اقول له معلش عادي يعني عادي معلش، اولاد كلهم هيك بحكي معه يعني، اني مشان ما بيخجل بس شوي تشجع اني ما يعني سويه تحته يعني.
ده تكون ايش اسمه ابو حسين؟ محمبل ايه؟ محمبل؟
There's rarely a moment of respite, and certainly no time to let your guard down. Day or night in Aleppo, there's always something to make you jump in fear.
بخاف على أولادي أكثر من أنا، بخاف على أولاد ليرتعبوا، بسوي حوالي أوقات يعني بسوي حالي ماني خايفة كرمال أولاد، بخاف بس حسوي حالي ماني خايفة كرمال أولاد شي ما يخافوا كثير.
Thanks to a generator, the family can watch TV at night, but the news brings only more images of conflict and death.
بس أما صار عنده بداخله شيء مرعب أكثر مما أنه يروح على المدرسة. صار عنده خوف، صار عنده حقد، صار عنده لك القسوة، صار عنده هذا الأمر اللي يخوفنا أكثر مما أنه يخوفنا رحت على المدرسة وعدم رحت على المدرسة.
أنا بركز على عدم بشر بس، مركز يعني إذا أنا شفته أو إذا مسكته أنا نعدمه، إذا مسكناه الجيش الحر طبعا هون بحلب ورحت أنا عنده بجوز يعدمه أنا، بس إذا مسكناه يعني بغير مسام محافظة لا هن خليه يعدموه. شوفوا إنه هو شغل كبار بس يعني أنا بحب إنه أعدمه.
But if President Bashar al-Assad does fall, there's no convincing plan for who or what will take his place, and no knowing what life will be like for Ibrahim and his family. What we do know is that Syria's next generation is being plunged ever deeper into a life of war. Children who represent the future of Syria itself are being scarred and forged by an endless parade of dreadful sights and experiences. How will they be able to forget what happened in this, the most vulnerable, impressionable time of their lives?
لأن الموت ما بخاف منه، ما بخاف غير من رب السواني أبدا. شلت قلبي بإيدي وكبيته أنا، ما ضل بدي قلب. لهالشي أنا تعودت إنه هون ما في قلب أبدا. سمعان صوت طيران.